Hi! On the Woodpecker today, as Christmas gifts. Last year, I made another type of Cryptex. Several years ago, I made this Cryptex for our son. You might already have seen it. Last year, I wanted to make another one that would be easier to reproduce, like the other gifts I made for him over the years. And to make it easy to reproduce, I will do like I usually do and use my CNC with Aspire. This screenshot looks a bit intimidating, but it's actually quite simple. This is the sheet I used to make most of the design. There, the exterior fixed shape. Both interior walls hold the rotating rings. The rings are held in place with those tabs, but I also need rings. So here's their design. Several of them are on this sheet. Here you can find the exterior shape and the notches for the tabs. But the most important thing is this shape, which makes it possible to cut an interior groove without damaging the outside edge by cutting the groove into different passes. But you will see this soon. The rest of the sheets are all the pieces placed on a piece of plywood that can fit on my CNC. This is the first sheet I did to test my design. To test this, I need some plywood. When I have a piece screwed to the table, I can cut some rings. The first job is all the central holes. Then I change the bit to cut the interior groove. Here you can see how the bit lowers inside the hole and cuts most of the groove, and without touching anything, moves to the next hole. I need to make 2 cuts to cut all the grooves. Then I put back the end mill and finish the cuts. When I have some rings, I screw another piece of plywood and cut the back of the rest of the pieces I need. When the back cuts are done, I remove the plywood and drill some holes into the spoil board. In fact, this is for some small length of dowel, which I use to align the other side of the plywood. I screw this again and make all the rest of the cuts. My test wouldn't be complete without the burning of my logo. Finally, I have everything for my first test. But first, I need to free all the pieces. When this is done, it's not over yet, because I still need to sand all of them and remove the tabs. This started quite badly. I made a beginner's mistake again. I forgot to check if my aligning holes were big enough for the alignment dowels before removing the plywood from the CNC. I need to cut more pieces, but this time I checked the holes. When I have another piece ready, I still need to sand it all before I'm able to test this. Here I'm quite happy because all the pieces go together after a little bit of rasping here and there. This is quite exciting. After some small modifications, I'm back at the CNC. Here you can see why I never put on my dust shoe when I record something for you at the CNC. Before I can assemble another Cryptex, I need to take care of all the pieces I've just got. And it's time to try this again, to make sure my modifications fixed all the mistakes I made. I can see that now I don't have any problem at all. But now I don't have any logos on the caps, so I burned 4 end caps with the pattern I made just for that. Now that I have all the pieces, I can reassemble both Cryptex. But this time around, I glue each tier on top of the other with instant glue. Just a drop here and there is sufficient. I just need to wait a bit while the glue dries. Now all the pieces stay together when I assemble both parts. But it's not very practical without any numbers. So I make another file to burn the numbers on the rings with my rotary axis. I'm super happy that I made this rotary axis for my CNC because I use it often. Now that I know that everything is okay, I switch to production mode. I cut several pieces. Here are some of them, but I need to cut more. While the CNC is cutting more pieces, I can work on those that are already cut. As you can see, there's still an enormous amount of work that needs to be done. When all the cuts are done, I can put the laser on the CNC and burn the end caps. I fill my pattern with end caps, and it's a go. While the CNC is burning, I keep on sanding. But that's not all, because I need a bunch of aligning pins. Now that all the end caps are burned, I can put the rotary axis back again and burn some numbers. With those numbers, I have everything I need for my Christmas gifts. This year, to my great surprise and joy, my gifts were assembled. Maybe you also would want to assemble your own Cryptex. As you can see, I made a bunch of them. If owning a Cryptex interests you, send me an email and I will give you all the info. This was how I made the Cryptex I gave at Christmas last year. This is my first video of last year's Christmas presents. If you wish to see the other ones, you will have to come back to the Woodpecker.